G'day, welcome to Inkscape for Teachers. I'm Geoff Phillips, and in this tutorial we'll be looking at how to create a volume of revolution diagram similar to this one. Now there's some excellent software around, including FX draw tools that allow you to do this automatically, but perhaps not with the same formatting controls. Be very good for demonstrating to a class, but if you wanted perhaps a neater graphic for inclusion in notes or something like that, perhaps Inkscape's the way to go, and we'll be looking at how to do that. Now let's look at a blank Inkscape file and see if we can draw a solid of revolution from scratch. First let's start with the axes, Bezier pen tool, click, Control to constrain to horizontal, click and enter, and Control Shift F to bring up the fill and stroke menu under stroke style. Let's bump that up to 0.5 or so, and put an arrowhead on the end. Select tool, yep, that looks alright. Select that arrow, Control D to duplicate, rotate 90 degrees, and there's our y-axis. And let's perhaps move the x-axis down a bit, Control, something like that. Now we need let's say a parabola to rotate. Actually, I'll move the x-axis back to that, and we'll move the y-axis along to there. Let's now look at creating our parabola. So I'll draw a rectangle. You can do this over here if you want. So something like that. Under extensions, render function plotter. Let's make it a symmetric parabola, so from -5 to 5 say on the x-axis, and likewise on the y. Let's move that across, and leave all these unticked. Make sure that is ticked, this first derivative. Should be hidden and ticked, but anyway. Live preview, and yep, that'll do for now. Apply and close. Now let's get rid of that rectangle and drag this along. Now you can see it's far more than we need, but let's just rotate it 90 degrees and put it into position there. Shift drag will widen it symmetrically, so something like that. And we need to shrink it in this way, perhaps. Actually I should have done that first. I was going to cut that parabola, but I'll shift and drag that back down to there. So I've manipulated our parabola into position. Let's thicken that up to 0.7, yep, and make it smooth ends. Okay, so there's our parabola ready to be filled in. Let's draw an ellipse on the end here with the ellipse and circles tool. Let's start about there, and holding the shift key, drag it out symmetrically, sort of snapping not quite where I want it. So look, I'll stop there and turn off the snapping for the moment. Let's zoom in, select tool, let's make that 0.7 as well, and let's now hold the shift, zoom right in here, just on the top one, Control mouse wheel, hold down the shift key and move that up to about there. Let's see down here, it's done it nicely as well. Now I might just adjust this axis. I'm going to Control duplicate. I'm going to drag one up to about there, and this one I'm going to drag back to here and take the arrowhead off that, and turn on the snapping tools and just snap this. There we go. So there's our x-axis coming through the solid. Now I need to fill these areas, so if I click, I don't have to click it actually, I can look at the bucket tool, I can select a colour, let's say that one there, and these settings, grow it a little bit. That helps to avoid little gaps, because the bucket tool's not an exact tool at times. Let's click in there, it's not too bad, and click in there. We've filled our parabola, our rotated parabola. We need to, well, we don't need to, but I think it helps if we do a gradient on these fills. So if I click that Now under the fill, pick the gradient fill, it puts in a fill there. It's probably not too bad. We can then click the gradient fill icon down here, or gradient adjusting icon. Click on the first node and we can darken that up a bit. And we can move this along a bit perhaps, or we can rotate it around. I'm not sure whether the rotate tool, no, I'll have to move this manually. Let's have the dark at the bottom and the light at the top, and adjust something like that. Excuse me. If you want to adjust the darkness, again you can click on the node on the gradient icon and do that. And you can see that's done it reasonably well. If you want to do the same on the ellipse, we can then give it a gradient fill as well. And you can play around with it, but let's click on the gradient controlling icon and perhaps click this one and darken that up a bit inside the parabola, and maybe, yes, something like that. Snapping a bit there. That I'll go to the select tool. It actually doesn't look too bad. I might stop there. I'll go back and have a look at the other one that I had over here. Yeah, similar. You can see that I drew another ellipse and moved along just to show a slice there. If you want to do that, we can do that here too, but for the moment I might just leave this as our solid of revolution. And look, you can label the X and Y axes yourself. So you can get some reasonably artistic looking solids of revolution. Here's another example of a solid that I've formed by rotating, or appearing to rotate a graph as well. But if you want to demonstrate the formation of those, a product like FX Draw Tools or FX Graph can do that nicely too. Okay, I think I'll leave it there, and thanks for watching.